The Senate approved Project 2025 author, nutball, conspiracy theorist, and all around sociopath Russell Vought. Let's watch this video.
Runs a group called Center for Renewing America.
An organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history, block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person that crushes the deep state.
So this is, Trump said, I don't know anything about Project 2025. Here's the thing that everybody has to realize about Trump. He doesn't give a shit about Christian nationalism. He doesn't really even give a shit about governing. He just wants to be Mr. Popular. That's what he cares about. He wants to be on TV and he wants to fight with like 60 Minutes over the Kamala Harris thing and then talk about the 2020 election and go on and on about Hannibal Lecter. He's so intellectually lazy that the fact that the Heritage Foundation is dead serious about all this Christian nationalist, dangerous bananas. It's exactly like all of the things they say that they hate about Middle Eastern countries is exactly what they want to do in the United States of America. Just take away Islam, insert Christianity. Trump will go ahead and go with all of that because they've done all the work, because he's lazy. He wants to do executive order show and tell. He wants to bop around to music and talk about Hannibal Lecter. He is a lazy, lazy, lazy person.
Well, and this Russell Vought, he is just the grossest. And here's the thing. In Project 2025, they want to shut down the Department of Education. What's Trump want to do now? Shut down the Department of Education. Project 2025 is misogynistic. It's racist. It is going to be the absolute. These evangelical Christians are getting everything they want, and it's up to us to stop it at every turn. Because I'll tell you what the next thing is a national abortion ban. That's what's coming. Make no mistake. And here's the thing. Trump knows that this guy will take all the heat for it and he'll come out smelling like a rose. Trump owns this shit. He owns every single bit of it and the dysfunction that follows. And you call him intellectually lazy. I think he's just a dipshit. That's my opinion.
Also, it's important to point out that Project 2025 is wildly unpopular with the American public. So a lot of this, as we watch Trump 2.0, I advise that we're going to have to let them do a bunch of this shit and then sit back and fill the void. The Democrats have to move in and say, this is what he does. He takes a wrecking ball to everything that you like. A lot of these things that they're going to cut, Americans don't realize it, but they enjoy it. They enjoy flying on an airplane, knowing that a business isn't dictating what the flight path is to placate to shareholders so that they can have a bigger profit. They like the fact that these things are run by the government. They just don't realize it yet. So as these things are being stripped, the Democrats have a huge void to come in and fill, because all of this shit with Project 2025 is wildly unpopular. Okay, let's listen to this next clip from this deranged sociopath, Russell Vought.
We want to meet the man writing the game plan for Trump's second administration. Vought believes that in his first term, Trump's agenda was frustrated by what he calls the deep state. So Vought is planning a radical centralization of government power under the president, firing civil servants and ending the independence of agencies like the FBI and DOJ.
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.
So this is the consolidation of power in the executive branch, and it's all very dangerous stuff. And this guy is a total sociopath, and it is horrible. It is terrifying. It is all of those things, viewer. But some of these things are going to have to happen so that we can launch the counter programming to MAGA. Trump rolls it out. The press sane washes it during the election. You have Latinos for Trump, some random blacks for Trump. Oh, and then we have, all of the Arabs in Michigan for Trump, and look at what happens. Look at what's happening right now. But more than anything, a lot of his white supporters that depend on a lot of these government run agencies for safety, for products, for oversight, when they start removing those, the American public is going to be outraged. They're going to join us in this. It will happen. Pumps, what's your take?
Well, it's interesting because you look at Project 2025 in its entirety, and all it is a consolidation of power in the executive branch. And that assumes that Donald Trump is the executive. So they want all the power consolidated for a Republican. And them calling, I don't know what the deep state is. They are the deep state. They are trying to take away the three branches of government. They are trying to take away the legislative power and put it in the executive branch. Would they be that gung-ho for it if Kamala Harris was the president? I tend to doubt it. And what's interesting about all of these programs like you're talking about, based on my review of what these programs do and how the money is spent, they disproportionately go to red states. And that's the case. So I'm afraid that you're exactly right. The really bad stuff has to happen before people understand that it matters to them, that just because it happens to somebody else, they don't give a shit. But when it happens to them, they care. And hopefully, Fox News is like completely changing how it talks about inflation and the price of eggs, now saying, oh, well, it's increase in price of eggs is because of the national defense. I don't know how long they'll be able to sane wash all the stuff that he's doing once every American starts feeling it.
The one thing that people need to realize, Republicans, and particularly Trump, are terrible at governing. They are not good at governing. They operate under this myth that the government should be run like a business. And that is a total myth. The government cannot be run like a business. The government is not a business. But all these white business guys, these crusty old guys, with their suits and the red ties, show up to go meet with Trump in the Oval Office. And they're like, let's trim the fat. Let's do all of this stuff. It doesn't work. It fails, and they deregulate. And then these corporations go belly up, and then the taxpayers bail them out. All of this shit, they use Christian nationalism as a way to rope in people. It's like an emotional blackmail to these people. Like they feel like if they mention God, then, oh, this politician mentioned God, so I must vote this way. They want to deter any form of critical thinking. Let's watch one more clip about the Christian nationalism of this man.
Loyalists installed in key government agencies and armed with his playbook, Vought believes a radical Christian nationalist agenda can be realized under a second Trump presidency. For example, on abortion.
So I think the president's actually come up with a strategy that works, so long as you are giving people like me in the government the ability to block funding for Planned Parenthood, block funding for fetal tissue research. What I've told people is he had the most pro-life record ever. I've never seen him take it to stand in the way of a pro-life initiative that actually was real, politically and with momentum.
Okay, you and I, Pumps, we know a lot of people that have gotten pregnant through IVF.
Right.
And we live in Oklahoma City, listener, and it's a very purple city. A lot of these people are MAGA voters. And here's what I have to say. And I think, do it. Ban IVF. Do it under Trump. Ban it. Do it. Do it before the midterms. I double dog dare you. Fucking do it.
I completely agree, because people want to be able to start their families however they want. Now, these same people, the fundamentalist right-wing nutters, they don't want anybody else to be able to do it, but at least they want to do it. It's important to them. And so the thing about it is, if I remember correctly, Project 2025's approval rating was less than communism during the election. And now these policies are going to roll out and we're going to feel it. So I'm with you. Do it before the midterm.
And listen to this. Every Republican that voted for this guy, Democrats, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to listen to everything that this man said on tape. We know all these MAGA people lie when they're in front of Congress. Look at Brett Kavanaugh. Look at the handmaid, Amy Coney Barrett. Look at Neil Gorsuch. Lies, 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 lies. That's what they do. This guy on this hidden camera right here talking about Christian nationalism, and every Republican that just voted to confirm him as Secretary of the OMB, you're on record supporting Christian nationalism. You're on record advocating for a national abortion ban. There will be no daylight between your vote for this man and the policies that he says when he doesn't think he's being filmed. And the Democrats have got to attack in the midterms. Any senator that voted for this, you are okay with this. You are okay with banning all of this shit and eroding the separation of church and state. And we're just going to start keeping record. We're going to start keeping a little ticker of all of this shit that you all vote for, and organize and mobilize, and in the midterms, absolutely mop the floor with them, because Article 1 still exists, and it will exist as long as we all stay engaged and keep fighting for it. Stick with us for more uplifting tips in Trump's second term.